For more on the document scandal, let's bring in the panel. Criminal defense and trial attorney Brian Claypool, along with Media Research Center contributing writer Stephanie Hamill. Thank you both for coming on. I appreciate it, Brian. You know, it's a very good question she ended with there, is because you can have Ben Cardin saying, look, I don't think Biden had any criminal intent. Well, then why'd you take the documents? Because it really has become this scavenger hunt around these various properties for documents.
Trace, great to be with you. There's a criminal statute that says that Biden could be held liable if there's gross negligence, too. Remember, it doesn't have to just be willfulness, that he willfully took the documents and he's hoarding them and hiding them. If there's gross negligence here, that he can still be indicted, not likely to be indicted. But why is that important? Because it gets to your point. He should never have had any of these documents in the first place. Right. And how smug was Merrick Garland today when he was asked, oh, is there a different set of standards for Trump versus Biden? He's like, oh, absolutely not. What is this dude thinking? With respect to Trump, I believe that the FBI and DOJ were trying to manufacture a crime and try to create a crime to get Trump to not run for office. Here, it's the exact opposite. It's like, oh, we want to hide a crime. And how about this? Yeah. Biden's lawyer's calling up, hey, you want to come over to do a search? I mean, are you serious? By invitation only, let's do a search of the home. That's not a search warrant. No. And why isn't his beach house getting searched? And let me ask one more point.
And the beach house and other houses, right?
You know whose other houses and offices should be searched? Hunter Biden's, because of his relationship to that company, CEFC. Almost $5 million got funneled to him and James Biden.
I will say, Stephanie, it is getting harder for Democrats to use. You heard Ben Cardin there. It's getting harder for Democrats to defend this. I want to play some from Tim Kaine, and we'll get your response.
I review classified material as a senator on the Armed Services and Foreign Relations committees, but when I do it, it's always in a classified facility where I don't have access to the materials other than to sit there and read them. So that's why there needs to be this independent investigation, an independent prosecutor.
Senators and vice presidents don't just get to walk out the door with classified documents, and yet a lot of members of the media are still making excuses for Joe Biden going forward.
That's right, and it's really revealing to see how the media are handling this, and all of the pundits and the talking heads who are generally allies of the president, if you will. Some of them are defending him. Some of them have suggested really wild things like the classified documents were planted by Republicans. But would they have access to Biden's home and that box next to the Corvette in the garage? Probably not. And so that's ridiculous. We also heard from Whoopi Goldberg that Biden actually declassified these documents. Well, really, that's interesting. So as a senator and as the vice president, and yet we still haven't heard any real logical explanation as to why he had these documents. And also Biden himself said it was irresponsible to have classified documents when it came to Mar-a-Lago, yet he's the one who also had classified documents. So it makes no sense. It's so hypocritical.
And I keep hearing items, right, Brian? I keep hearing, well, there were 5 items in this house and there were 6 items over here. How many classified documents in an item? I mean, how many do they hold? What are these items exactly? Are these folders? Are they just one document? What exactly are you trying to convey here? And tell me again, why is it that he took them from place to place? Why did he have them in the first place? And why was Hunter Biden living in a house with these documents?
You raise a great point. I'm more worried about Biden than I am Trump. Why? Because he has a smaller number of documents and folders, right? Trump had just a trove of documents. That tells me that there's an agenda behind
specific documents.
Exactly. He has specific documents that he took and he's hiding. And you connect that with the dots of Burisma and with that Chinese company, CEFC, there is a potential reason behind why he has those select documents.
Yeah, and James Comer said, the same thing Brian was saying earlier. Hey, it's about time we did a little bit of a trip around some of these homes and family members' homes to see if we can find anything else. Your final thoughts?
Final thoughts would be the fact that we have GOP in control of the House, and they're going to do a lot of investigations. They want to see if there's some sort of peddling going on within the family. We also learned from the New York Post that there was a photo contained in the Hunter Biden laptop that had this specific box of classified documents. So that needs to be further investigated. There's so many questions that still remain, and so I don't want to jump ahead of the story, but it needs to be followed, it needs to be investigated. And also all the people who are outraged over Mar-a-Lago, I'd like to see the same outrage. That's all.
Yeah, equal justice.
That's right.
Stephanie, Brian, thank you both.
You
appreciate
bet.
it.
Thanks, Trace.